Intro. We've all heard the textbook explanations. Africa was colonized for its resources, to civilize the savages, or to spread Christianity. But what if we told you that those were just the surface-level reasons? The real reason Africa was colonized is much deeper and far more shocking. It's not what you think, and it was never taught in school. Let's break it down. Part 1. The surface narrative. Yes, Africa had gold, diamonds, ivory, and rubber. Yes, European powers wanted raw materials for their growing industries. And yes, missionaries came to spread Christianity and Western education. But here's the truth. Africa had all these things long before colonization. Europe had been trading with Africa for centuries. So why did they suddenly decide to conquer it in the late 1800s? Let's dig deeper. Part 2. The real trigger. The Industrial Revolution. The real spark wasn't just Africa's wealth, it was both Europe's crisis. By the mid-19th century, the Industrial Revolution had transformed Europe. Factories were booming, railroads were expanding, populations were growing, but so was a massive problem: overproduction. European countries had more goods than their people could buy. Their factories needed more raw materials, but more importantly, new markets to sell to. Enter Africa, a continent with millions of people, untapped markets, and zero industrial competition. Colonization wasn't just about taking resources. It was about controlling new markets to dump goods into and prevent rivals from doing the same. Part 3. The Scramble for Africa. In 1884, the Berlin Conference was held without a single African present. European nations literally sat around a table and drew lines on a map, dividing Africa like a cake. Britain, France, Belgium, Portugal, Germany, they all wanted a slice. Why the rush? Because whoever controlled the land would control the markets. Africa became the battleground of European economic survival. It wasn't about helping Africans. It was about protecting profits. Part 4. The role of racism and propaganda. But how do you justify invading and stealing from entire civilizations? You create a story, a lie, a myth that Africans were uncivilized, barbaric, or in need of saving. This wasn't just racism, it was strategic. By painting Africa as a dark continent, Europe made colonization seem noble. They weren't stealing, they were civilizing. Textbooks repeated this lie for generations, and sadly many still believe it today. Part 5. Africa's resistance and loss. Don't believe for a second that Africa was passive. From Ethiopia's victory against Italy at the Battle of Adwa to the Ashanti Wars in Ghana and the resistance in Algeria, Africans fought back. But the weapons, tactics and alliances of European armies were overwhelming. Colonization was not a peaceful invitation. It was a military occupation. Africa lost not just land, but lives, cultures and centuries of progress. Part 6. The long-lasting impact. Colonization wasn't just about the past. It shaped the present. Borders were drawn with no regard for ethnic groups, causing conflicts that still exist today. Resources were extracted, not developed. Infrastructure was built to export, not empower. Even education systems were designed to erase African identity and glorify Europe. The real reason Africa was colonized wasn't to help, it was to control. And that control didn't end with independence, it just evolved. Outro, the truth. So the next time someone says Africa was colonized for its resources, remind them, that's only part of the story. The real reason? Europe needed markets, control and dominance in a world it was reshaping through industrial capitalism. Africa wasn't passive. It was targeted, it was strong, and that strength threatened European supremacy. And that's the truth they never taught you in school. Like, share and subscribe for more African history that reveals what textbooks left out.